Biden the hero. Congratulations to President Joe Biden for revoking Russia's most favored nation trade status. It was a decade ago that a team of bumbling fools gave Russia most favored nation trade status. Thanks to Joe Biden for fixing the mistakes of the bozos in charge of our country in 2012. Wait a minute. Who was in charge of our country in 2012? President Joe Biden is revoking Russia's most favored nation trade status. In this story by CNBC, they mention President Biden no less than 7 times, showing his heroic stand. The Biden administration and its partners have worked to limit the Kremlin's access to global financial institutions. Now look at this naysayer over at the American Thinker. Why did Russia even have most favored nation status? On December 14, 2012, President Barack Obama signed the Magnitsky Act, urged on by then Vice President Joe Biden. Before this, the U.S. could not grant most favored nation status to former Soviet countries. Let's go research what actually happened 10 years ago. Permanent Normal Trade Relations, PNTR status for Russia and U.S.-Russian economic ties. On November 16, 2012, the House passed, and along with the Senate, the Magnitsky Rule of Law Accountability Act of 2012, imposing sanctions on individuals. President Obama signed the legislation into law on December 14, 2012. In order to comply with WTO rules, the United States had to extend PNTR to Russia. And in fact, if we go to the Obama White House archives, Press Secretary Jay Carney said this: President Obama commended the House and Senate for working on a bipartisan basis to pass legislation allowing him to extend permanent normal trade relations to both Russia and Moldova. So this puts the April news story by CNBC in context. Here we have a story lauding heroic President Joe Biden for revoking Russia's most favored nation trade status. 10 years ago, a team of moronic bumblers, a team of idiotic bozos, gave Russia most favored trade status. Who was that? Oh yeah, it was the Obama-Biden administration.
You said Russia, not Al-Qaeda. You said Russia. In the 1980s are now calling to ask for their foreign policy back because, the Cold War has been over for 20 years.
This is dated October 2012. And then as soon as Obama defeated Mitt Romney, he gave this most favored nation trade status to Russia. Now we have hero Joe Biden revoking that status. If you go through these stories from the news media dated yesterday, not one of these stories will tell their readers or viewers that it was Obama Biden, specifically at the urging of Joe Biden, to give this most favored nation trade status to Russia a decade ago, that paid for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The Obama-Biden administration policy gave Russia the rubles they needed to buy tanks, to buy cruise missiles, to fund the invasion of Ukraine in 2022. But you won't be told that by NBC News. Let's go and look through the other news stories from the other news outlets. Does anyone bother to inform their readers who actually gave Russia most favored nation trade status? Here's Reuters, dated yesterday. U.S. Congress votes to strip Russia of most favored trade status. President Joe Biden supports the measures and will sign them into law. Let's go back a month ago for when Biden first started mentioning that he was in favor of revoking this status from Russia. This is amazing. CNN gives a history of the most favored nation status, and yet the CNN reporter and her editors are very careful to hide any mention of who passed this status 10 years ago. That would be the Obama-Biden administration. Look at that. Obama, no matches. So it took 3 CNN reporters to lie about where this came from. Not one of them mentions who gave this status to Russia. It was just some mysterious group or agency. In fact, CNBC, the group happily reporting on this revocation, said a month ago that Biden was calling for an end to this trade status. Let's see if CNBC has any mention of President Obama. Oh no, look at that. Some mysterious group granted this status a decade ago. ABC News. Congress votes to suspend Russia trade status. Yep, look at this destruction that Obama-Biden funded Russia to do. The Associated Press story, quoted by ABC News, has not one word of who actually put this status in. They've got 3 separate direct quotes from Democrats in Congress showing how heroic they are. They have to summarize Senator Rand Paul, Republicans' comments. And this is something that Democrat news agencies do. They will give a direct quote to their friends in the Democratic Party. Democratic Party enjoys full quotes from anyone at the Associated Press. You'll get a full perfect quote from them because Democrats in Congress and Democrats at the Associated Press are all buddies who work on the same team. But they have to summarize a Republican because a Republican does not deserve a precise quote. Jake Sullivan, Biden's national security advisor, tweeted that the president looked forward to signing the bills. We are never told who gave this status to Russia. Yeah, exactly, baby. CBS News. Senate unanimously votes to suspend trade relations with Russia by Catherine Watson. Only 7 paragraphs from CBS News. You're provided no historical context. You're provided no facts at all about who gave this status in the first place to Russia that helped fund their war in Ukraine. If we're going to force Russia into expanding the war because they have nothing left to lose, you'd think our hardworking journalists, news editors, and station chiefs would want the American public to be as well informed as possible on the steps that led to this deliberate crushing of the Russian economy. Again, I do not support the Russian invasion of Ukraine in any way. Joe Biden's leadership, if it's so perfect, why did Russia invade? And what did Biden say to Putin in their multiple conversations last year that induced Putin to make 2022 the ripe time for conquest? All we have are questions, and no one is asking them of the powerful. Thank you.